Welcome to the Wildcast Podcast, coming to you from Wildcast Studios, with your hosts Adam Lund and Jeremy Boucher.
Oh, welcome back to Wildcast Studios for another episode of the Wildcast Podcast, your unofficial voice for all things Moncton Wildcats. As always, Finishers, I am your host, Adam, and I'm joined by your favorite co-hoster, Mr. Jeremy Boucher.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Your heart's recovered from the weekend?
Oh my God. I was going to mention it later, but yeah.
Okay, we'll get into
Just
it later.
a heads up there. The drum at the Avenir Center is not getting the stick tap of the week. That is a definite that's definite spoiler. I've had enough of that drum. It's a good thing there's a defibrillator at the Avenir Center because I almost needed it.
Yeah.
That thing's got to go.
Yeah, I hope you get into that because that was that. As you can tell by my reaction, that was a good time as we were at the Pink in the Ring game. Man, is there a better time of the year, notwithstanding holidays, obviously, than right now, than the fall, than the month of October? Leaves are changing. NHL's back. NFL's back. Q is back. I mean, obviously you don't watch postseason baseball, but for those who do, postseason baseball is back. Like, I mean, if you're allowed by your significant other and or if you're a single dude that loves sports, there's no better time.
No, there's really not. And I'm glad you mentioned significant other because my ability to watch sports at home consists of turning on a game while she's not in the room. Her coming into the room 5 minutes later, are you watching hockey? I want to go watch TV in the bedroom. So then
Sounds
I'm
like a
okay.
win.
So, and then I'm just going to flip off the channel because I just put it on whatever she wants to watch because I just,
Really?
I'm a nice guy.
Oh,
So
you are a nice guy.
I'll put the TV, I'll put my phone I'll put whatever game I was watching on my phone,
Yeah.
add that on my lap and go from there. I'll always let my wife have the TV.
See, I usually do in the week. And now we have a lot of shows, Hell's Kitchen, Masked Singer. She watches 911. She does watch she catches up on her shows while I'm at work because she works from home and or while we're recording the show on Monday nights. But once it gets to Sunday, God love this woman. She gets up before I do. She has her coffee. She has her time. When I get up at like 9, 10-ish, NFL Network is on. And then it's 2 TVs full of football. Now, it helps that she plays fantasy football in my league. And she is, I don't think she's better than me this year. She's 2-3, and I'm 2-3. So she's not going to win this week, I don't think. But anyways, yeah, Sunday is football from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. on both TVs.
No.
If the Sunday Nighters, meh, we might flip on one of our shows or something like that. But for the most part, I'm pretty lucky in the fact that I get all football.
That will not ever occur under my roof unless I have a man cave or something, which doesn't happen right now. So, I mean, I'm not to say that I don't ever get to watch sports. I get my fair share. I was able to watch some on this past Sunday, which was nice. But most of the time during the week, it's phone on my lap and peeking up to see what she's watching because it's usually something scary.
Really?
And
she's in the scary shows?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And I don't do that stuff.
No.
So.
No, the only reason I have Halloween decorations in for the month of October is for the people. I actually don't like this holiday at all. I was scared.
Ban Halloween. I do not like Halloween.
No. I was scared as a kid. Not on purpose. My uncle just come around the corner in one of his costumes back in the day. It was I don't even remember what it was, but he had no face. Top hat and just absolutely scared the bejesus out of me. And the only reason I go that I went trick-or-treating and stuff like that was when Haley was like 3, 4, 5, 6, the dad thing to do. But my costume was a Buccaneers coat and a Buccaneers hat, and I was a Buccaneers fan in Alberta. That was my costume. A couple times I think once I went as a dead mobster, so I just put some white on, put like a bullet hole in my top of my forehead, and walked around on one of the warmer days. Cold days, it was a jacket. But are you looking at costumes right now, bro?
Yeah, still haven't gotten Avery's costume yet. So
really,
yeah.
What's your costume going to be?
Me, myself, and I.
They can say me, myself, and Irene.
pretty good movie.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, no, I'm like the whole like I love to support the Green Pig Market as they're getting back on their feet, but at no point am I paying money to go out in that corn maze
Nope.
and get the bejesus scared out of me.
No, that's no. I think they're not doing it at nighttime this year.
No?
But the one in Truro, I was gonna say that the Truro corn maze is, I mean, bring an extra pair of shorts because you're going to crap yourself. Like it's that scary, and I think that's what kind of where my fear
Right.
of Halloween came, is I went to that when I was maybe my early 20s, and you're in the middle of the maze and you get so scared you don't even know how to get out.
Right.
So
yeah.
you're literally stuck in there, and I had like not be carried out, but I had to be my hand was held
Yeah.
the entire, like I was so petrified. I do not, like, even if I see like a mouse scares me, or a snake. You go for a
Well,
walk in a park and a snake crosses
Yeah,
in
that
front of your
scares.
path.
Those things are useless and shouldn't be in the world. But
I have the smallest, like,
scare factor.
Like, I'm petrified of the smallest things,
Right.
including a drum at a hockey game.
Yeah, that was pretty good. And in fairness, I mean, they don't play it all the time, but when they do, and it's right above your head.
I just didn't know it was there. Like, I didn't.
No, you expect the organ to be there.
The organ, yes, the organ's fine. That the GJ's fine, but
What do you think of the organ? Like, you were on the other side of the home opener, so sitting where I sat, like I said after the home opener, it's not as loud as I thought it would be. But what were your take on the organ?
I think it's cool.
Yeah,
I like it. I think it's kind of gives a different sort of an atmosphere. I don't remember was there even any music played on Saturday night? Like,
it was not the DJ, but I think there was music from up above.
Like, I don't even remember any music being played. I just remember the organ. So that's a positive thing, I guess. I mean, when you don't even remember the songs you heard, all you remember was the organ. So I like it. And the DJ, I like the idea of an in-rink DJ, especially if they take requests.
I sure get a lot of comments. It looks like me. Apparently,
He does look. He does.
Yeah.
If you really need to do a side by side of the in-ring DJ, in-rink DJ.
If I'm wearing the same hat as he is,
Yeah.
Which I kind of think is funny that the Wildcats keep giving, like, they had signed jerseys to give away during Pink in the Rink, and he's got a jersey, and it's the old style. Like, it's not even like, give the people new updated jerseys.
Yeah.
One thing I will say about the organ, as much as I do like it, he's got to figure out when to play certain songs, because he's playing the Law and Order dun 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 dun, dun when we get a penalty.
Right.
Play that when they get a penalty because they broke the law. He was playing like another, like it's not like The Undertaker, but it's like a solemn type song.
Addams Family?
Yeah, no, it was like a solemn, like when there's a penalty.
Okay.
But it's when we get the penalty. Yeah. Play it when they get the penalty.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are in doom, in danger. That I get what he's doing because that's kind of the penalty thing, but when they go on the power, when they get a penalty, when we go on the power play. So, yeah, I really enjoy it. I have no problems with it. I think it brings up fan engagement that much more.
Yeah.
It's a little bit louder.
I agree, and I think it's a great addition. The suit the guy wears is so cool.
Bling.
I mean, yeah, that thing's got some sparkle on it. It's even got the catch scratches on the back. Really, I mean, it's you got a chance to check it out. I mean, it's so neat. It's a great addition.
Yep. Don't forget, as always, you can follow us on the social medias, Twitter, Moncton Wildcast, Instagram, Wildcast Podcast, TikTok, Wildcast Podcast, and don't forget to like and subscribe here on the YouTube. Just to let you guys know this week, because there is a Cats game when you heard this yesterday. The audio will be out today, Wednesday. The YouTube will be out tomorrow because it takes a little bit extra time to edit through. So the quick question, it's never a bad time to talk about trades. We're not going to talk about Moncton. But, I mean, Sherbrooke is undefeated right now. Quebec is, I think, 7-1. Gatineau, through all their injuries, is 6-2. We saw Halifax get the first loss. But, I mean, who's in the best position to not only buy, but who's in the best position to gain assets with some of the players that that are coming back. And the reason this question come up is when we were at the game on Saturday, Charlottetown getting Biak Patuka back.
Mm-hmm.
You said that's going to get a haul, and I said, I can't remember who the player I said was, but I said, is it going to get a massive type haul back? And he's a 20-year-old, so I feel like they're in a good spot. Bathurst is in a good spot, but who's in the spot to kind of buy for you?
Well, I mean, Sherbrooke, I mean, if you can, that top line is pretty much unstoppable right now. If they can add another piece to that, their top six, I mean, they're going to be dangerous, right? Like it's, they already are dangerous, and I mean, if you just look at what they've got, like I think before we started recording, I think we said that they've got 2 seconds in 2023. You know, they've got their first in 2024, and I think they've got their first in 2025. So.
Yep.
You know, those 2 seconds that they've got in 2023, they belong to Charlottetown and Bathurst. Well, those are going to be high second round picks, so those are going to have some value to them. And, you know, their 2024 first, Sherbrooke's, you got to assume they're not going to be very good next season. So that could very well be a top pick as well, right? So they're in good shape with what they've got. They haven't drafted very well recently, so it's not like they have, you know, a young player that they can say, okay, we'll give him to you in this deal. Like they haven't,
like an a la Rue that you can add
like
to not maybe give up a first. You can add, or even that one, or even Grenier.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of giving Moncton a first round pick last year, we got Grenier, which basically was a first round pick, right?
Yeah,
so
they haven't drafted well recently. Like they've had players that. I mean, I'm trying to think of I got to pull up their most recent draft here, but from my understanding, like they don't have a player on their roster this year from the draft. Their first pick last year was in the 3rd round. It was Cohen Miller from Nova Scotia. I mean, he was a high scorer in midget, but he's not. You know, I don't even know where he's playing this year. I don't think he's back in. He very well could be back in midget. I just don't know how he's doing. Caden McNeil is a defenseman they took from Rossay Netherwood. He's playing. I think he's still playing in Rossay this year. It's not a big name, right? Like they haven't drafted well, so they don't have any young prospects that they can include in these deals. You know, if you look at 2021, they had Ethan Gauthier is obviously on their team.
Yeah.
Their second round pick was Jesse Carrier, I think is playing Junior A in Quebec, so he's not even on their team. Sam Lucas Tifo is on the Sea Dogs now, so like that was their first 3 picks in 2021. So they haven't drafted well other than Gauthier, and so they're not going to go and say, oh, we'll include Gauthier in this trade. No, they're not going to say that. He's one of their top players, and he's a first overall pick.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to happen. So if they're going to make deals. If they want to recover assets right now, what they're going to have to do is they're going to need to trade roster players to get picks, and then flip those picks to get players. So, I mean, for me, I think this is a pretty good landing spot for like a Riley Kidney. I was going to say Jacob Melanson would fit in well in Quebec, but wasn't he originally drafted by Quebec? So I don't even think he can go back. So that unless there's some rule,
you got to be 2 years out, don't you?
They're 2 or 3 years out or something like that. So I don't know. But yeah, Gatineau is, you know, they've got a first in 2023. They got a first in 2024.
Now they're also getting all their players back, so it's almost going to be like they're adding at the deadline.
Exactly. So they're basically going to be getting a bunch of players back.
Because Quebec's got a 3rd and 2 fourths this year, and then they've got a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th next year. So, I mean, Sherbrooke is in the best possibility to.
They're in the wheelhouse right now.
Yeah.
Like they're the odds-on favorite to make the biggest splash here, and they've got the team to do it. They've got the goaltending to do it. They've got the D to do it. They've got everything. Like I mean, you wouldn't even have to make a move, and they'd still be good.
No, they could just move a couple of their seconds and get some depth pieces and still be just fine and have their first second, third,
Yeah,
or first and third.
It's not an overly competitive year.
No.
Right? There's usually 3 or 4 teams that kind of stand out, but I mean right now it's Sherbrooke and Quebec stand out. Gatineau's right there, but Gatineau's there because they're still winning without their top players. Like, it's crazy that they're going to get all these players back and be that much better.
Yeah. So Melanson was drafted by Quebec, 15th overall. So I know that I think when we first started doing this, I said about a player, and you and Chris had said they got to be on 2 different teams. Like right now, if we wanted to, just as an example, we could acquire Lavallee back because he was played in Shawinigan and he's played in Chicoutimi. Now we could acquire him back. But I think a player has to be gone for 2 years as well, something like that. So, I mean, he could fit there, but he just feels like a Halifax player, right? And, we just saw them. So, I mean, you look at their draft picks, 1st, 2nd, 2/3 this year, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th next year. So, I mean, if there's a player that fits that role to play with LaRue and to play with that team and help that top 6, Jacob Melanson, the way he plays right on the edge, sometimes over, is a perfect style player for Halifax, right? Now they may alternate suspensions in the second half, but I mean, if Quebec can't go get him, Sherbrooke obviously can. And I know that in the preseason you asked Johnny Rocket maybe if Kidney and Melanson were a package deal to go to Sherbrooke or to wherever, so that could be it. But I kind of think that Halifax is a potential to go get a Melanson.
Well, yeah, because I mean, it would be a good spot. But again, he's only going to be a half-season player because I think he's already signed by Seattle, so he's going to be playing pro next year. It's the only thing with it could be a good fit.
I hope not. We'd prefer you trade him out of the division.
Oh yeah, but
out of the division.
That's that's interesting.
Yeah.
I never thought about him possibly in Halifax, which, I mean,
because if Kidney's going to Sherbrooke, Quebec doesn't have a first. Gatineau, I mean, they have a first. He could fit there, but you're going to have a season here with that. So how much are you going to give up there? Same with Halifax, I guess. St. John and Charlottetown and Bathurst probably are the best position to kind of recoup some assets moving forward. Like, I don't think Shawinigan is really in that. I think it's mostly the Maritime teams, right?
I never thought about Jacob Melanson going to Halifax.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, good point. No,
Yeah.
it's true though. I mean,
because that's a small buy on a half season.
It would be a small buy, but a costly buy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think Halifax, can afford it because, I mean, they're still reaping the rewards of our trade from 2 years ago, 3 years ago now. So it's they'd even have more assets if they would have traded Barron and Dinoine, but they didn't do that.
Yeah.
So I think they're good. And no, I think you make a good point. I think that could very well be a good spot for Jacob Melanson. And unfortunately, him staying in the division would be the only downside of that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get to some news and notes from around the queue.
News and notes from around the queue.
I mean, I had one other good suggestion at last year, like off camera, about a player that I was hoping was going to get there. I missed on that one, so we'll see if I come close on this one. A couple news here. Riley Mercer out a couple months. It says 6 to 10 for the Voltigeur, as he will require knee surgery, which is, I don't laugh at the fact that he needs knee surgery. What I kind of giggled at is if you go to the Q site, which goaltender is going to enjoy the best start? Olivier Adam, Gabriel Dagg, Charles Edward Gravel, Francisco LaPena, William Rousseau, Samuel St. Hilaire, and then Riley Mercer. Not really sure it's going to be Riley Mercer right now. He's probably not enjoying the best start for himself. But again, that's a guy that, if you're going to miss the first half and come back in the second half, and we'll see what Drummondville is. Talking about trades, a blow to the Titan getting better and recouping assets. Miguel Tournier is going to Slovakia. I think the team's Braca, what I saw on the little logo. I was trying to figure it out, but I was at work. So he's off to Slovakia, which I don't think they were really expecting him back.
No, well, it could have been another possible spot for Halifax, but hey,
Well,
good.
fine by us.
Have fun in Slovakia.
Small trade between the Bacomo
Blockbuster.
A Blockbuster. All right, we'll go with a Blockbuster. I'm just trying to pick it up here. Between the Jakar and the Eagles.
What was it? I don't even know the guy's name. Olivier
St. Louis. 2004 goes to Cape Breton for a 12th rounder in 2023. So a little bit of a blockbuster, yeah. Yeah, that's. I mean, obviously they're just adding veteran depth because I think they had an injury.
Oh, they've got injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll get to see him.
I wouldn't even consider him a veteran. He's
Has he even played in the league?
no.
Oh, really?
No, I don't even that. It's just a body. It's a body trade.
Yeah, 44.
Yeah.
Offensive defenseman.
Yeah.
44 games, 2 points.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a depth piece.
It's a body. It's a body
Yeah.
trade. Yeah.
All right. I tried to sell it. I really did. Obviously, the QMJHL has announced that they're starting their action plan for consent and sexual misconducts, which, with all of Hockey Canada stuff and all of this moving forward, all the leagues have started that. It started on Monday, October 17th. Players, staff, coaches will have the opportunity to take part in discussions with, I clicked on that, Leah Clermont-Dion. So obviously that'll be kind of going through. I know that I think different teams will take different times, maybe instead of everyone at once. But again, we have no idea what the process is. We just know that it started this week. Before we get to the favorite Q team of the week, we'll get to the Q team of the week. Thomas Bellegar for Victoriaville, 3 games, 3 goals, 3 assists, and a +4. Pierre-Olivier Waugh for the Rempart, 3 games, 3 goals, 3 assists. Joshua Waugh, I don't know how Justin Gill's not on this again, but I think they're just randomly picking different Phoenix.
Sharing is caring.
On that week, on that spot there, as he had 2 goals and 4 assists in 2 games played. Jeremy Biaka-Patuka making his return for Charlottetown, 3 goals, 1 assist in 3 games. Tristan Leno for Gatineau, 2 games, 2 goals, 1 assist. And William Blackburn not only was team of the week, but he was player of the week. 3-0, a .97 goals against average and a 970 save percentage, and a 1 point goals against average. That's all fine and dandy, but the real team of the week that people want to hear is the Jeremy Boucher Wildcast podcast team of the week. So the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah. You don't understand how difficult it is to put this team together. Because
I bet it
I
is.
need to be different.
Yep. I mean, you can
Although
have the
I would
play.
say last week there was two of my guys.
And hey, if you have 1 or 2 a week, that's fine.
I will say that there's none.
Okay.
Okay. So wait, was Rochette on it?
Theo Rochette?
Yeah.
No.
No. Okay. Perfect. We're good. My team of the week is as follows.
Fallows.
The goaltender is from Sherbrooke, Jacob Robillard. Off to a 6-0 start with a 2.22 goals against and a plus 900 save percentage.
Cool.
On D, Charlie DeRoche of St. John finished the week +1 somehow after losing 7-2 to Quebec and 7-0 to Victoriaville.
Well done.
+1. Let it go. Good job, Charlie. And also my second defenseman is from also Sherbrooke, Joe Fleming. So Joe Fleming, the only player to have played in the Q selected in the American draft.
Really?
Yeah. Now, I must say, he was originally drafted by Gatineau, but then he was dropped by Gatineau and picked up by Sherbrooke. It still counts because he was picked in the American draft.
So is Tucker a free agent? Jack Tucker for the Wildcats?
Yes, he was free agent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not that many of them, so you kind of remember what American was what, but yeah.
So Joe Fleming, the only American taken in the American draft.
Well, congrats.
There you go, eh? Now into the forwards. Cam Squires of the Cape Breton Screaming Eagles, the best player on a winless team, but please keep in mind the show is recorded Monday, and the game against them is...
So hopefully this isn't peeled apart by Andrew Parrington for a cold take of the week.
Could be, yeah. let's say. Also, Theo Rochette +7 in a 7-2 Remparts win over St. John.
That's not a big deal.
No, and obviously finishing off our American Cole Bishop. I had to throw in a Wildcat because we're homers, right?
Yeah.
2 goals in 2 games, on pace for 63 goals. And for anybody out there who said our poll prior to the game Saturday was a jinx, you can it.
We got 2 words for you. Very, very well done.
Yeah, not bad.
I can't wait to see what that thing is in the middle of February and as the games.
Oh my God, it's so difficult putting this together. I worked on that for like 3 days.
Really?
Yeah. The goalie, I was like, okay, I want to take Robillard. That was like 4 days ago.
Yeah.
But I finished that probably an hour before coming here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. I sat in the Dairy Queen parking lot in Shediac for an hour today doing research.
Oh, you're working in Shediac?
Yeah. Well, Horabujigan.
Oh, okay. All right, well, there's your Jeremy Boucher Wildcast Team of the Week.
Weekly Rewind.
Well, that was a start to a 4-game homestand over the weekend as the Wildcats get both victories, 3-2 overtime victory over the Islanders and a 5-3 victory over the Mooseheads, bringing the record to 4-3 for 8 points. We get into Saturday, a 3-2 overtime victory. The game should not have gotten to overtime. There was no need for the 4-minute penalty, as when you take a stick to the face, I understand why you were mad, Loshing, so I forgive you. As we kind of talked about last week, Steinman got the net. Kind of I had said give it to him because that's a tough matchup in Sherbrooke when you're playing the whole game, regardless if it's 8-5 or you stand on your head. And he didn't disappoint.
Nope.
He absolutely did not disappoint. He showed flashes against Sherbrooke, and I think he had more glove saves in the third period than we had goals to keep this thing at 2-1 at that point.
You know what I like about him?
Steinman, yeah.
He makes it look easy.
Yeah.
And like those glove saves, look, okay, I get it when goalies want to be dramatic with their glove, and I'm not a big fan of the dramatics with the glove. I don't like it. But he made these saves seem easy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, talk about stepping out for a night on the town. Oh my goodness. Sorry, anybody listening to the show will understand that. I've always wanted to throw that part into the show. Yeah, he looks calm. He's calm. He's cool. He's always, he's square to the shooter. We saw in Sherbrooke, he was a little slow reacting. Well, not so much.
No.
This time around. Like he got over those onto the cross creases. He was on it. He was on his game. And yeah, you're right. It shouldn't have went to overtime. It should have been a regulation win. But what can you do? Get cross-checked in the face, and it goes unnoticed.
Mm-hmm.
And then the individual who did the cross-checking ends up scoring the
That's
tying-
my favorite
tying goal. I mean,
That is my favorite part of the whole
that's
thing.
always one of those things where you just like,
Of course he does.
the writing's
right?
on the wall for some of these games here, and but no, that was a pretty good effort. It was a really good game. Morin is just on a hot streak right now. There's something in his underwear that's giving him the juice. I don't know. That's the juice.
It's Cole! Which leads into that, right?
Yeah. What a way to make a debut.
Yeah, and you missed it.
I did miss it because I was getting ready to getting loose.
For the real.
The real
Show.
season, the real
Yeah.
show. That's okay. I missed it. But yeah. Anybody who said that we put pressure on him with our Twitter poll,
We did.
Get
and
outta
you know
here.
what? The dude responded.
get out of here.
That's what good players do. They respond to pressure.
Yeah. Who cares about social media?
Yeah. I mean, he retweeted it, so
Yeah.
he couldn't have felt that much pressure. But, yeah, he got his first one. Again, I wasn't expecting a whole lot from him. I didn't honestly think he was going to play based on the fact that I didn't know they'd have a pink jersey ready for him. He wore 27. He wore 77 the second night. It was a typical Islanders game.
Mm-hmm.
Kept it close, kept it gritty. Hung around again in both games, but we'll stay on this one. The Wildcats out hit them 15-6, which, I mean, they're playing a more physical game, and when they can stay disciplined, notwithstanding the 4-minute, they're gonna be in every game, and they're gonna be a tough team to beat.
Going to be a tough team to beat if they stop putting pucks over the glass.
3 out of 6 games.
Holy God!
3 out of 7 games. Sorry.
Like, what are they doing? It's
I
not
don't know.
golf.
I don't know, but
Like, are they? Did they bring their 9-iron to the goddamn rink?
Boys, just click
Man.
on YouTube. Find Rhett Warner, Calgary Flames.
Holy shoot!
Dude made a living off the glass and out. Off the glass and out. Like, yeah, it's an epidemic, as they say.
It's like, I don't even understand it. Like, it's happening every game,
Yeah.
and and it's not like, okay, so Saturday was Marcial and then Ballantyne, right? Like back to back, if I'm not mistaken. Puck over glass.
Ding ding.
Okay. I don't want to make excuses here, but I mean, these two played, I don't know, Junior A last year. I guess no, never mind. What I was going to say just makes no sense, so I'm not even going to say it. I'm just going to cut myself off.
All right.
Forget it.
Either way, what you're saying is
My bad.
stop doing it.
Stop doing it.
Stop doing it.
Like, it's just one of those things where it's such a easy penalty to avoid.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's not even a judgment penalty where people can get mad. You shoot the puck over the glass.
These guys are skating
Yeah.
right to the penalty box. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, that's it's just, I'm not going to sit here and complain about the puck over the glass penalty for 10 minutes when the team's on a 3-game winning streak.
No.
Right? But it's, if there's anything that they're working on in practice this week, it's
Pucks off glass.
Pucks off the glass. Right? Literally taking that extra second to see if there's room up the middle, you know? But on that topic, I will say, what I've seen on breakouts is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I've noticed, not necessarily Saturday night when I was at the game, but Sunday when you're sitting at home and you're watching it. Their breakouts are so well executed. Last year they would have been turning the puck over, this and that, but they're taking that extra second to make sure that where they're getting the puck, where they're passing to, or who they're passing to, it's going to be a tape-to-tape pass. Like, it's smooth and it's working well. So I don't know who the hell is running their defense right now, whether it's Heptich or
The new guy, I
Labrosse
think. Yeah, I think
or
it's
who
Labrosse.
is it? It looks good. Everything's well. Just
Keep doing it.
accept the pucks over the glass.
Yep.
Calm down.
Now, we are commenting it because we do know how easy it is to shoot pucks over small areas, as we were on the ice in the intermission.
That's
For
correct.
all those who are watching. I'm not going to lie. That shit's hard. Like, I got one, and the only reason I got one in was because I was dead center, and I was coming close to it. It's a lot harder than people think when you're watching it. So, but it was a lot of fun to be out there and
It was.
shoot pucks.
Yeah. The vantage point, like, you're looking around like, oh, this place is pretty cool from
from
ice
ice.
level, yeah. It was fun.
Yeah, I get to go back to maybe win a wash and dryer, so we'll see. Clearly, I'm going to have to practice. So, if anyone's got an extra washer and dryer, have I ever told you the washer toss story of mine?
Washer toss?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. So I'm not very smart, right? So when we were living in the north, I was driving, or Layla and I were driving, and there was somebody had thrown their washer out. So I was like their washer, like their big washer and dryer, right?
Okay.
So we're driving by, and I was like, as we pass it by, I'm like, huh, it's washer toss week. And she's like, exactly. She's like, what did you just say? And I was like, It's her favorite.
I'm sorry for anybody whose ears I just laughed in, but that was good.
She goes, what? She pulls the car over. She's like, what did you just say? I was like, it's washer toss week. She's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, well, the washer's out on the side of the road. Like everyone's garbage and recycling. So they're tossing the washer out. She had tears in her eyes. When we go upstairs, you tell her about that. She'll have tears in her eyes. Tanya Stewart cannot not have tears in her eyes. She loves that story every time. She will take pictures of people's washer and say that. I found out what washer toss was. But for that week, I didn't know. I'm like, oh, look at that. It's washer toss. I thought it was people tossing their washers out.
Holy crap, that's good. It was like that. It's like that video I sent you and Chris earlier about the guy is some neighborhood kid showed up his door asking for a donation to the local swimming pool, so I gave him a glass of water.
Yeah. Except mine was original. I legit thought that washer toss was a week where you toss out your washer and they come get it for you, so you don't have to take it
to
the dump. All right, moving into Sunday.
Yeah.
The Wildcats got a 5-3 victory over Halifax. Filion got the net in this one. My favorite part about the fact that Filion got the net was the first goal was terrible by pretty much any goalie standards.
Yeah.
And what he did was he didn't let it derail him. And he was good for the rest of the night. He tried the 2-pad stack on the Dume, missed it. Unreal glove save with just under a minute left in the game to keep it at 5-3. That's a goal that last year might have derailed him in the game, and we lose this thing 5-3 because the confidence is gone. What I saw from him after giving up that goal was it was done, and he continued to play well because Halifax, they controlled most of the game. They outshot us in the final 40, but I really enjoyed watching Filion shake that one off and continue to play well.
Yeah, 100%. You're right. That first goal was a bit of a stinker. Everybody's admiring Hamel's hit on Biasca in the behind the net, but at the same time, Biasca's banking the puck off Filion, right? So I think even the cameraman got a little distracted, was admiring the hit a little more than the play.
The worst part is he made a beautiful glove save 2 minutes before, and then lets that in, which if you've ever played net or you have ever talked to a goalie, that's exactly what happens is you make an unreal glove save and then you let the little one in. Yeah,
and but look, there's so many people out there right now that expect him to be a star goaltender in the league, but really there's not very many goaltenders that are stars at 18. Like with the exception of that Gabriel Dag in Victoriaville, like he's proving to be a star. Like he's an absolute superstar right now.
And they're playing him in games that allow him to excel and be a star, right?
That's it, right? And you got to look back at goalies that have played in this league, that have gone on to the NHL. There's only been a select few who have actually been stars, when they were 16 or 17 or even 18. Filion goalies take longer to develop.
Yeah.
And
you have to be patient with goalies.
You do have to be patient with goalies. He's going to have a really good year, and he's going to be even better next year, and he's going to be even better the year after that.
Yeah.
It's you can't count him out right now, and I understand where some fans where their mindset is because it's just of how he's been the past couple seasons, but at the same time he hasn't had much help, right? Like the D hasn't been there to help him out in recent years.
Well, and I think it didn't help that had he been a Wildcats draft pick like Lavallee in the late first round, early second, maybe he gets a bit of a pass, but because he was the major piece on the Jordan Spence, this is how we're rebuilding this thing, that didn't help the pressure we put it on him, saying he's gonna be the MVP of I think his first full season, right? Marc-Andre Fleury, who he was compared to,
Mm-hmm.
his first season, he played 35 games. He had a 4 goals against average.
Yep.
His second season, 55 games, 2.78. And his third season before he got drafted, 51 games, a 3.36 goals against average. So if Filion, and he was 26-14 in his second season and 17-23 in the year he got drafted. So, you know, if he's playing at a 3 goals against average clip with the depth on this team right now, that should be enough to win most hockey games.
Yep. Goalies aren't going to have like Gabriel Dag is getting off to a ridiculous start. Like, it's not going to continue. He's
No.
not going to keep up a 1 point something goals against average as a 16-year-old goalie.
If he does, good on him.
like, wow. But
You missed Cape Breton.
yeah, yeah, that Thomas Lavoie is looking good right now. Like, no points and like -10 or something. Oof. Considering he was supposed to have 5 points in that first game, according to Andrew Barrington.
In fairness, though, they didn't play that first game.
Oh well,
The first game was against us, right? In
That's
fairness.
true. Yeah, he's supposed to have 2 goals and 3 assists. At this point, I don't think he'll get that all season. No, this goaltender is an absolute stud. He's going to be such a star in this league, and he's not even eligible till 2025 for the NHL draft because he's a late birthday.
Dag?
Yeah,
Yeah, because he's 15 right now.
Wild, just wild right now. But that's the thing with Filion. He's gonna be fine. I think he's starting to find his groove. I think the team's starting to find their groove. I think that Quebec road trip, like Drummondville game, kind of flipped the switch a little
Yeah.
bit. You know, I think it got, an early trip like that. Bonding time and this and that, and it's always good. And it's just been a completely different team ever since that trip. And I hope they keep it up because, if they can keep it up, well, maybe they are going to challenge Halifax, right? It's they've got some work to do. But talk about, I know it's going to be, I know it's early in the season, but you kind of want to win that game against Val-d'Or. For reasons,
for
there's
reasons we've talked about.
Reasons Val-d'Or is off to a scorching start somehow. I mean, they've obviously still got a really good team, but it's if there's a game to win, it's that one.
Yeah,
because you want to get the 2 points in that one. You want to make sure they don't walk away with anything in that game.
And of course, in the Halifax game, Cole Bishop goes 2 for 2 in his debut weekend. So not only did that poll not put any pressure on him, he's 2 for 2. Could be 3 for 3 by the time you listen to this.
Yes,
We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I was just looking at Gabriel Dag while you were pulling stuff up. They're putting him in a spot to succeed. He's played Baie-Comeau, and he's played St. John twice.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably not going to play a Chicoutimi, a Gatineau, Sherbrooke on this next 3. He'll play Cape Breton, right? Like, they're going to play him against teams, and that's how you develop goaltenders. You let him play against lesser opponents. Teams you should beat, I guess. I mean, Victoriaville is kind of developing, but that's what you do. You allow that. Finland didn't really have that chance. We played the same 3 teams over and over again. Last year was kind of a same year, and Couture was just good. Mm-hmm. Everything I've seen from Filion this season so far in the short and condensed season, no issues with the way he's playing.
I agree.
The other thing on the Halifax game, I mean, Loshing was a healthy scratch. I don't know if he was a healthy scratch because of the 4-minute penalty.
Let's assume so.
Or he was a healthy scratch because he took a cross-check to the face and they didn't want to... They just said he was a healthy scratch. But if that's the trend that continues, then I hope that continues for everyone.
Yeah, I like the accountability.
I love the accountability.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have a hard time believing the coaching staff missed the cross-check to the face. But they're probably like, I get it, but you still can't take the 4-minute, right?
No.
So... you still can't take it. He took it. I like the accountability of keeping him out.
I do too. And I mean, if you got to look ahead, you want to be accountable. Well, there's been one defenseman who has taken puck over glass penalties in 2 consecutive games, and that's Hugo Marcel.
Yeah.
And so if they're going to play, if they're going to base their lineups and their scratches on accountability, well, maybe he's got to sit out against Cape Breton. Get a Grenier in there because it seems every time Grenier plays, he's on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
You can't get on the scoreboard if you're not playing.
We're going to sound like Nostradamus if Marcel doesn't play last night and this comes out today.
Well, I mean, if that's the way
but
they're going to go, right?
I
if that's
love
the
that
way
from
they're
the coaching staff.
Me too. I love it. But if that's the way they're going to go, and that just shows, A, they're taking no shit whether you're a first-line player or a fourth-line player. And I love that more.
Yeah.
Right? If you're going to set a first-line player because he took a bad penalty, that's balls.
Yeah.
Right? That's a nice part. You get depth. You saw Kiefer Lyons get an opportunity to play second line and didn't look out of place. I like that. Usually when you got a call up and you throw him in the lineup, he's buried on the fourth line. Yeah. No, not in this case. You got a top six opportunity. So I mean,
and they have, and we're gonna kind of get into a Cape Breton preview. Although Cape Breton we've already played, so we're taking the time. Anyways, Luke McPhee's coming back, so you have a little bit of roster forward depth with Cole Bishop now too. If you're going to hold accountable, great. You do that on the forward. Mm-hmm. Eventually, you're going to have that with Thomas Darcy because, let's be honest, with the crew that this defense right now, Grenier and Ballantyne have kind of been that extra defenseman. Where does Thomas Darcy slide in right now?
Oh, for me, he's a top six guy. Like, you can't keep him out of the lineup. I think he's top six. Like, if you have to rotate, I don't know, Grenier.
But that's what I mean. You have the depth to hold guys accountable because, I mean, I'm not saying that Darcy doesn't deserve to play when he comes back. He's earned it and he gets to be in that decor. But, like, you're going to be rotating Marcel, Grenier, Portier, John, and Ballantyne? Those four guys?
Well, I mean, there's going to be injuries. There's going to be injuries. There's going to be events like Forte Jean obviously going to be going to the U17s, which I think is in November. There's things that are going to come up here that are going to keep these players in the lineup. Like 8 defensemen is fine. I don't mind it. I think 8 defensemen is how many defensemen every team should have, and you just play the rotate game, and
because you don't always have to go 12-6. That allows you to go 11-7 every time, or every now and then, right?
If you want to,
right.
But then you're taking forward ice time away, and you don't want that to happen. And
no,
I think what they've got right now is fine. They got the 13 or 14 forwards. They've got their 8 defensemen and their 2 goalies. That's where you should be. That's where every roster should be like. And, just hope every player likes it. Because everybody's going to get playing time. That's been proven here.
Yeah,
under the quad. There's not going to be a 16-year-old benched. There's not going to be 16-year-olds sitting in the stands. They're going to be playing. They're going to be playing every night, and they're going to be getting ice time. So, in terms of development, you can't have nothing but good things to say about it.
Yeah, and Darcy is the type that when he gets in, he's going to gel with whoever he's got going. And I like the pair of Morin and Marcel. I think Fortier John played quite well, but yeah, Grenier, like you said, when he gets in, he puts points on the board, and that's. You can't expect much more from that than when you're getting opportunities to make it tough to get you out of the lineup. And that's exactly what he's doing on that back end.
Oh. Amen.
So, all right, Val-d'Or. I mean, hopefully right now we're on a 3-game winning streak as you hear this. And we hold Cape Breton, as I said on the live, to still being winless because nobody wants to be that team. But, I mean, like you said a little bit ago, Val-d'Or's playing really well, but this is a team again that we want them to have a lottery pick. Yeah. So they're not going to be great in the second half as Justin Robideau is off to Quebec as well as some others. But I mean, William Blackburn is coming off Player of the Week, so he's going to be dialed in. We don't see Val-d'Or that often. So aside from Justin Robideau, I mean, what are you kind of excited to see from a Val-d'Or team?
So William Provo is off to a pretty good start this year. I remember I'm not sure if it was last season or would have been. When was the last time Val-d'Or was in Moncton? Would have been last season, right? Because the year before was Maritime teams only.
Yep.
So when he was in, I remember him going up to a player, and he did that whole look. Like the whole thing, I'm going to look at who you are in the jersey because I don't know who you are kind of thing.
Yeah.
He's a pest. He's a pest, but he plays hard. Cale McCallum is he came out of nowhere. He was I think a late round pick of St. John 3 or 4 years ago, and I don't even know if he got did he get-
Eight-rounder.
Yeah, he might have got a cup of tea with St. John, but then went to Val-d'Or and he's flourished. He played
50 games, 15 points,
Yeah.
30 games, 9, and then 68
Yeah.
games, 69 points. Point-a-game player last year.
as a defenseman.
Yeah.
It's wild, and like this team has got good pieces. They've got Robidas, they've got Provo, they've got Paquette, they've got McCallum, they've got Blackburn. It's a good team, and I expected them not to be doing as well. So I want to see this team start to lose,
Yeah.
because I want that lottery pick, and even though we haven't exactly had great luck with lottery picks, but
It depends which way you look at it.
yeah, it's
Worked out.
It did work out. I just
It would be fun one time to go look back what our team, and you could probably do this better than I could because you were around, what the team would look like had they won the lottery and got Alexis Lafreniere. Like if it would have been the same team, the same dynamic. I don't know if it would have been the same dynamic just because of the way Pelche was, but it'd be interesting, the old what-if game, what it would look like if
I'm not taking
Lafreniere-
that much time. I'm not paid
Oh
for
man,
that.
it would be something to watch.
Yeah, no, I'm not paid for that. But no,
Wait, you're paid?
I'm happy with Pelche.
Oh, I'm
I was
extremely happy.
I was
Pelche.
happy with
Yeah.
that pick. Yeah.
So I mean, I would say we probably won the lottery. Yeah, Val-d'Or, one of the best color schemes in the league.
Mhm.
I always enjoy them, but yeah, this is a team that's going to make Moncton work for everything that they get through the game, right?
Oh,
And-
these two games are going to be tough
Yeah.
because Cape Breton wants to get that first win, and
it's not
Val-d'Or.
last year,
Yeah,
right? Like
And-
they are better. They've had 3 1-goal losses. I
Yeah.
think.
they're young, but they've still got. I think they're missing Jeremy Langlois. I think is hurt. France and Buteau is hurt. So those are two veterans on the back end that
Mhm.
they're assuming they're going to be without because I made the trade for St. Louis, and I believe Jeremy Fraser said on Twitter earlier that Lincoln Waugh is still with the team.
He's going to play tomorrow.
Yeah.
He played, I guess.
So they make a trade plus they still have their junior A call up in the lineup. That leads me to believe that Langlois and Buteau are going to be out. So you got to take advantage of that. And on the Val-d'Or side, I don't know what to expect because I don't see them enough. But I just
Yeah.
want the team to win.
Absolutely. Special teams will be key. Stay out of the penalty box. Val-d'Or's got the 4th ranked power play at 25%. And, even Moncton's power play right now is 20%, but Val-d'Or's got an 87.5% penalty kill. So special teams, again, like it always is going to be key. You ready for everyone's favorite part of the show?
Yeah.
Eric Murray Realty. Buy a house from him.
Stick tap of the week.
Okay. So as we mentioned earlier in the show, Adam and I had a great time embarrassing ourselves during the first intermission of the Saturday night game.
Yep.
And what we appreciated was the recognition from those around the arena. I know you were given high fives and
Yeah.
fist pumps and this and that.
It was just so good to be able to high five kids and
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and for you it was like Mardi Gras. I remember some girls were asking for your beads
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And,
Not for doing that. Just not for doing that. Just asking if they could have the beads because I looked ridiculous with the troll hair and whatnot.
Yeah. But we've got some listeners of the show here, some fan listeners that took the time to send us some pictures and send us some videos of our on ice antics.
Yeah.
Michelle and Mike Frenson, Vanina Calcino, and Julian Robichaud and Tanya Stewart. So thanks for these pictures and videos. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. Probably hide them forever. But no, this is just a little special thank you to you folks for looking after us and
Yep.
just don't put them anywhere because the videos are kind of embarrassing because I can't if the washer was a little bigger
Yeah.
I might have had 3 or 4. But
you didn't hit the hole of the washer, but you sniped a button You sniped the actual knob on it, so
Yeah.
you were hitting.
I was.
You were hitting it.
Oh, there's a picture. Never
Oh,
mind.
there's
yeah.
Avery.
Yeah, there she is. No, but there's so yeah, those four kind of get the stick tap just for the pictures and the videos. But at this time, I do want to mention something that I thought was pretty cool.
Is this an honorary stick tap or continuation stick
It's
tap?
more of a continuation. It's not really stick tap.
Okay.
But it's more or less kind of like an open mic moment.
Okay, gotcha.
So, I of course have access to our Twitter account DM.
Yeah.
And we received a DM from Roger Morin, who I'm assuming is a relative of Etienne Morin. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. So it was a picture of Isabelle, who is Etienne Morin's mother, Sandra, who was Miles Mueller's mother, and Melanie, who is Cole Bishop's mother. So the three met together for the first time and watched Sunday's game together. So what's cool about that is, so the three moms are watching the game together and their sons all scored in that game.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty neat because, I mean, you've got to assume that, maybe Etienne Morin's mother and Miles Mueller's mother knew each other because they were on the team last year. But you got to assume that, Mrs. Bishop didn't know, would have met these two for the first time.
Yeah.
Right? For them to sit together and for their sons to all score, I mean, it's
pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. I mean, that's pretty neat. And yeah, it shows that, the team is a family, but there's also the family Z's that are families, right? It's just, I mean, when I saw that, I was like, Jesus, that's a coincidence, but it's also really cool that's, I couldn't imagine being, sitting with them and just seeing their reactions, all three of them, as their son scored all in the same game, which is, I think that's really
one
cool.
after another, actually.
Yeah.
Morin, Bishop, Mueller.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, obviously to piggyback off that, the Tybells, on Saturday night, were sitting about 6 rows in front of us. We got to meet them. I mean, we appreciate everyone's support, but Sandra and the Tybells over in Europe, I mean, those games are starting at midnight. Over there, they're catching the games, they're catching our shows, they're interacting anytime we mention their sons. They're in the building 20 minutes before puck drop, coming from Austria to Toronto to here. 20 minutes before the puck drop, Jonas gets the assist on the game winner. So we got to meet them. Obviously, they were quite tired, so we didn't take much of their time. But it's just cool to see, and I don't always try to seek out the parents, but you see them around the rinks with the jerseys. They're pretty easy to spot with Tybell with the Swiss jersey. I want that one. And that's where you just hope that Mueller and Tybell get the World Junior experience in Moncton, and their families get to be here to see that.
Well, so I mean, you got to assume Tybell's going to be there. Mueller is, I think he's got a chance. I'm
Talk about a player that's improved.
Oh yeah, like
immensely.
I don't know what the depth is when it comes to Swiss hockey players and all that, but I think he's shown enough to maybe go to their camp if they have a camp and see what he can do. But I think Tybell is kind of a shoe in for their team.
And who knows? Maybe if it's between the bubble player between Mueller and player X, well, it's in Moncton. They're playing in Moncton. Maybe he's got an upper end if he kind of keeps playing because he's put himself in a niche where he's a good penalty killer, and that's in the World Juniors in a short tournament like that. You need good penalty kill. You need good special teams, and we're not just saying this because we're talking about their parents. We've had this take on Mueller for about a year and a half. So, that's an excellent stick tap, bro.
The Stick Tap Week, sponsored by Eric Murray Real Estate with the RE/MAX Avante team. If you're looking to buy or sell a home in the Greater Moncton or surrounding area, make sure to check him out on social media or give him a call at 506-863-8802.
And that's the point of the show where the drum was not going to be.
No more drum.
I think it was the second. I think it was the second period, and we're just talking back and forth, and and he Jesus Christ, I just had a heart attack. Oh, it took him a good 30 to 45 seconds to catch his breath. Gabe Smith's family's down in front of us. They're laughing. All the other people kind of around are just laughing at his reaction.
God.
So, yeah, Jeremy is not a fan of the Wildcats drum. So that brings us to the Wildcats Wildcat of the Week, presented by Rosemary Lynn Massage and Spa. Right now, for the month of October, you can save 25% on a mani-pedi combo. So, Ty Bell, Petra, Sandra, if you guys need a mani-pedi, 25% off our sponsor while you're listening to this while you're in town. To book an appointment, call 506-830-1224 or visit them at 1224 Mountain Road. Well, I mean, this one is fairly easy. He's second week in a row that the Wildcats Wildcat of the Week is also on the Wildcats Podcast Team of the Week. I mean, we all hoped he would have this start. We didn't want to have the expectation on him, although we did put the poll up. And he responded. 2 goals. 2 nice goals. Like, not even like greasy, like, tips or banging the puck in the net, just standing by. 2 absolute rockets, top shelf in both games during his debut weekend. So your Wildcats Wildcat of the Week is Cole Bishop, which is hashtag now thanks to Brittany Curtis, I believe her name is. I can't. Oh, that's gonna bug me now.
Yeah, that's what her name
Brittany
is.
Curtis. Yeah. Cole Bishop. That's his new name. Cole Bishop.
His
Hashtag.
his first goal,
Yeah.
a piss missile, as described by Chris Dobson.
Is that what you got there?
Called it a piss missile.
Well, it absolutely was. It was on his tape, and it was off quickly. And shout out to the Wildcats. The after the Charlottetown game, like the post game interview.
Mm-hmm.
That's his family's from London. He grew up in Tennessee. He's got brothers playing in Michigan.
Right.
So that's the connection of why he got to the OHL. For any of those who didn't see it, but were wondering, because you're like, how does a kid from Tennessee? And we
Yeah.
thought this last week. How does a kid from Tennessee end up in London or end up in Niagara, which ends up here? He's got family all in London.
That's right. Nice pickup by Mr. Ritchie.
Yeah, by Mr. Ritchie. Absolutely. He will now, if you see Mr. Ritchie, let him know his name is now
Mr.
Ritchie. All right, that's it for us. Thanks to everyone for tuning in, and thanks to everyone for being with us week after week. One more game tomorrow night, the homestand against Val-d'Or, and then a couple weeks from now, they got Gatineau and St. John. So get your tickets via Ticketmaster. Have a good week.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Wildcast Podcast. Follow us on social media at Moncton Wildcast.